All right. Welcome back to your view with me on Kopuse JJ Tabane. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot of you commenting yesterday about the issues of local government. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But before that, on every day or any day, there could be stuff that really saddens you. But also stuff that, while it makes you sad, makes you take stock of your own life and take stock of our life as a society. So earlier on this afternoon, I was at the book launch of Nolita Fakudi, who's the former president of the BMF, and she spoke about value-based leadership, challenging all of us to re-examine our lives and say, these are the things I've done wrong, how do I recalibrate? And she tells a story in that book of a white person in Cape Town, in a place called Wynberg in Cape Town. It's a suburb there in Cape Town. A white person walking there on a Saturday, she finding her being the weekend manager. And this is back in 1991 or 92, somewhere there where, the calendar had not yet clicked to 94, And the person walks in and says, listen, I want to see the manager. And she says, oh, but I'm the manager. No. I want to see the manager. Why? I want to be served by a white manager. How? Really? Yeah, let's call head office now. So they call head office, and someone at head office answers and listens to the story, and then says to the lady, sorry, but that lady there, Nolita, is the manager. So I'm happy for you never to shop at Woolworths again. That person who said so, who was at that point at head office, is now chairman of Woolworths today and has stuck to a consistent value-based leadership. You can just imagine in a company that says, oh, customer is king and so on, even a racist customer who's staring you at the face, for the sake of the cash that person brings, there could have been many responses to that situation. The manager could have said, hey, Nolita, please, just bear with the client because, you understand how Cape Town works. If you think Cape Town is a republic, it used to be quite worse, in the early 90s. So this triggers the whole issue of, well, it's been long ago since it was 1990s, right? We have moved past at least, some of the elements of just raw racism that people just, are just crazy, when it comes to accepting, other people from other reasons. So I know there are lots of racial incidents that are rearing their heads, but in general terms, we need to acknowledge that we have really made some progress. But the value-based leadership is not a fashionable thing. It's not a fashion statement. Is a leader, or this is the in thing to say now. This is the in thing to say, and you say it. Actually, in 25 years, people will remind you, but this is what you said 25 years ago. You must be able to stand by what you say. If you say something, even if somebody can produce something you wrote on your Facebook page in 1990, it must align with your values now. If it has changed, there must be very good reason. So value-based leadership, very, very important. And it brings you to the big story of the day today, of course, the rape trial out in the High Court of Pretoria, mitigation of sentence. Hey, people say all sorts of things to just not go to prison. And what irritated me today is someone saying, yeah, you see, if you lock me up, I'm going to kill myself. That would be a good shortcut to a death penalty, actually. If you rape a 7-year-old, I doubt whether we can even consider you human at all. You are an animal if you do that. The justice system is designed in such a way that it works by example, because we can't arrest all the rapists, because half of the rapes don't get reported. We can't arrest all the crooks, because they are always crooking their way out of courts, they are buying dockets, they are doing all sorts of things. Crooking tenders, doing sort of, they'll be discovered later, but at the point of arresting one of them, an example has to be set. And so the rapist must rot in prison. That phrase of rotting in prison it's not a mistake. It's not an accident. That's why you got minimum sentences that are in the law. There was a good reason why there was no death penalty in South Africa, because of the humanity of our society, because of the revolution that brought about freedom. But they want to threaten the system. I don't know. Yeah, if you arrest me now, I'll kill myself. It's like Omotoso. That's what he said. And I remember at that time I did say, let him kill himself. Maybe that's the only way he'll learn that you don't rape a 7-year-old. You don't. It's bad. It's a shame, actually, that proceeded from the mouth of anybody. Oh, no, don't keep in prison. It means that all the criminals, all they have to do is to threaten to kill themselves. Then they'll be released. They'll be released in society to continue with their criminal ways. It's terrible. Anyway, I thought, following yesterday's a discussion on local government, I would talk about the whole issue of separating party and state. This talk is part 3 now. We're talking about how to get our local government right. How do we fix local government? One of the things that destroys local government, and it's sad and strange that that is the case, is political parties not knowing where to draw the line between party and state. Let's take a listen at what the chairperson of SANCO in Gauteng, talking to me yesterday, had to say.
Actually, the local government belongs to SANCO.
Yeah.
Because we are the grounded people who understand what is on the ground. Therefore, it is us who must lead. Yes.
Mr. Chris Malemecha.
Thank
you so much, man. Thank you for your energy. I hope that you'll apply it there, the local government, the coalface of where our people are truly suffering right now.
They are. Let's truly beat around the bush. People are suffering because people have cliquenized everything. People are putting their girlfriends, people are putting everything that is really
bad.
It's bad. Whether you go to this municipality governed by the DA, this one governed by the ANC, everything is a mess. If we are to quote municipality by municipality, you cannot refuse that in Mfuleni, services has collapsed. So there's no way we'll come here and say, it's terrible.
Terrible.
It's terrible. You come here in Tshwane, the service has collapsed.
Yeah. He's so right. It's a mess. It's a terrible mess, because the confusion or the false interplay between party and state is obviously not responsible for everything that's going wrong. There's a massive local government, but it plays a big role in actually defocusing the government. If there was no confusion between party and state, SANCO, whose chairperson Gauteng was claiming that, we are SANCO, all citizens are SANCO, and SANCO is all citizens. It reminds me of, the Easy Damley at university under SANSCO. They used to say that. They used to say all students are SANSCO, and SANSCO is all students. But you don't expect that from adults at SANCO to say everybody's a member until further notice. It's nothing like that. People must choose to be members. In any way, so SANCO talks about NASREC. They talk about this was adopted in NASREC and what have you. Remember, they are claiming they are SANCO, they are the people, they are on the cold face and so. If they were indeed not governed by party machinations, they were not governed by something in the parties that are called the line. Sorry, the line. But sorry, the line. So anything that departs from the line, that seems to point fault, they will not support it. They would have brought local government to a standstill right now. Because what more crisis do you need if 48% of these municipalities don't have a proper plan about water? Half of these municipalities don't have a proper plan about sanitation. What else must be a crisis before a civil organization like SANCO that claims to have 600,000 members, are bigger than almost all political parties. If in fact, they're bigger than all political parties, actually. If they are saying that in Gauteng alone, they have 600,000 members in good standing. Unbelievable stuff. But they fail to bring that muscle that they have, right, of being the voice of society. They fail to bring it into governance because they are in the chains of party political machinations, party political lines. It's terrible. If you look at what's happening in Tshwane, if you look at what's happening in Nelson Mandela Bay, it's all about party politics. It's about what does my party want? What does my party want to see happening in this municipality? It's all about what would benefit the people. You want to tell me that the conflict in municipalities in the Nelson Mandela Bay, where they had to change governments midway, they're about to fire the mayor again, and so you want to tell me that that is what the people want? The people want chaos. The people want chaos where councillors beat each other. I mean, a councillor, a very full human being with full faculties, takes a jug full of water and beats another councillor. I don't know, I hope that guy is in prison, because I'm told he's running out, he's doing a Zuma on us, running and appealing everywhere. But this is the caliber of councillors who can distinguish between party political machinations and what they are there for, which is to serve the people. It's bad. Look at what's happening in Tshwane, right? Where party machinations within the DA, right? White caucus, black caucus, all the stuff that they will deny, and we see it happening. You will see now this weekend where the monster will come out for everybody to see. They are consumed by that. They are not consumed by what the people want. They are not consumed by what the people want. We need leaders who have a value-based framework, who understand what it means to say people first, man. But to pili. No. This one's, I mean, look at Joburg. You know, every 2 months there is a motion of no confidence. The ANC cannot stand being in the opposition. In their minds, that's what matters. They must be in power. So even if it means disrupting the current administration 2 years or less than 2 years before the next election, it doesn't matter. Mashawa must go. They are there now. They want the motion of no confidence. It just doesn't settle in that you got to separate your own party political ambitions of being in power and service to the people. Why don't you serve the people in a humble capacity of being in the opposition for the remaining 2 years? Then people may say, now maybe they have learned their lessons. But at this rate, they must be kept there, opposition for the next 5 years, just to be a little bit humble. It's bad, the mix-up of party and state. All the things that the Soundcode chairperson was admitting, terrible waste of money, wasteful expenditure, irregular expenditure, all of these things are because someone somewhere wants to use their deployment to waste public resources. Their deployment to steal until the cows come home is bad. So power, right, needs to be monitored. If we want to get local government right, we need to be able to have a bureaucracy that is focused on serving the people and not party political bosses. Let's take a break. At the bottom of this hour, we talk State Information Technology Agency. Stay tuned.